Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of Specifically Devoid, and another episode of A Talk With, a show where I talk to some cool people about the rad shit that they do. Today, we wanted to take a look at what life is like after graduating college, and to do that, we invited our wonderful friend of the channel and recent college graduate himself, Sam. Sam, how's it going?
Hey, Derek, I'm doing good. Hello, wonderful people. Hope you're all doing well. How are you?
Sam, it's been a while since you've been on the channel. You usually show up in game show capacity.
I do, all-time legend, and honestly, my favorite player myself. So, no, but thank you for having me on. Glad to be here in a non-game show capacity. Really excited to show my non-competitive side. So,
well, the first thing I wanted to ask you, more than anything else, we ask this to all of our guests that come on here to a talk with. What are your thoughts about Sunny D?
Yo, all right, Derek, you've got me into this debate a few times. I love Sunny D, honestly. I think it's a great drink. Sunny D, if you're listening, would love to be a spokesperson. But it's not exactly orange juice, but it's a little bit like orange juice with battery acid. So if you're into that.
My favorite quote so far is that Emily referred to Sunny D. Emily referred to Sunny D as orange juice's prettier cousin.
Well, she ain't wrong about that one.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's not an opinion, it's a fact.
So, for those of you keeping count at home like we are now at 4 pro Sunny D, 2 con Sunny D, and 1 person who is very neutral about Sunny D. Meaning that I am currently winning.
Who was the very neutral?
I think it was JD Spears, who was the one person that I didn't interview because Micah hacked that interview and took that spot away from me. I was really excited to talk about music with JD Spears. I want to get this out there real quick. I was really excited to talk about music with JD Spears, and Micah took that away from me. All right.
Don't get a neutral stance on Sunny D.
So, all right. So, Sam, for reference for everyone at home, how long ago did you graduate from college?
I graduated back in this past May, so May of 2021.
All right. And what was your major when you were in college?
I majored in music and political science, which is what I ended up getting a degree in.
Yes, when you started at college, were those your 2 majors, or was what was the journey from major to major like for you?
Wow, way to put me on blast. No, no. So I originally went to as a music ed major, and a music major with a concentration in education. And when I got into the classroom, I just kind of felt out of place, and I really just wanted to help people. And so ultimately I was working in student government and realized that I really just wanted to work in I felt like the easiest way for me to make an impact was by working directly in local or state government at the time, and that's what I wanted to do. So I ended up declaring a second degree in political science, and because I was 90% done my other major, so I just decided to add one instead.
You know, I've gone through a very similar journey in my college experience.
Derek, you and I have been around it a few times.
Because I kind of did the same thing. I came in as a music major with an education concentration. And then after a year, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that shit. So I dropped the education concentration. I was like, well, what am I passionate about? So I added EGST because I'm passionate about, queer rights and my rights and helping people. And that's the way I think I could best do that, is in that field. So it's like, you don't need to keep the same major, No.
And it's everyone contributes in their own way. And if everyone did the same thing all the time, that's not how life works. And so I felt like the original reason why I was called to education was because it was familiar to me. I really hadn't spent life outside a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But majoring in EGST, though, is a great major, and it's one that not enough people do, especially in the polarized environment that is today's world. And so just big props on that. So thank you.
It is, polarizing is definitely the exact word I would use to describe the environment and what it's like being an EGST major right now. So you graduated in May. So
Yes.
it's been a good 6 months since you've graduated, yes? In those 6 months, how often would you say you've used your degree so far after graduating?
So immediately after graduating, I moved out to a different part of the state. Like I moved all the way across the state actually, and I ended up working at a KFC for some time, like for about 2 months, so not much there. But after about 2 months, I ended up becoming a temporary research assistant, and now I work on a project called the Empowering Women Project, where we work on dramatically increasing the number of women in executive positions across all R1 institutions in higher education. So actually, since July, I've been using my degree.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the time people find themselves not really using their degrees after college,
Oh,
but maybe
exactly. A
that's
lot of jobs.
yeah, no,
Oops.
continue. Sorry.
A lot of jobs just require a BA or like a bachelor's degree, and it doesn't say in what.
Right. Right. It's like, do you think okay, it's like what am I trying to ask here? Has anybody looked at your like grades at college or looked at like how well you did or just that you have a degree?
Honestly, I didn't even get my degree till 2 weeks ago. They sent me someone else's degree the first time. I technically have so this is a fun story. I technically have 3 degrees then because they sent me someone else's, and I already have 2 with a music and political science degree. So I also have a BA in childhood education, apparently.
Oh my god! You just did so
Which
well
I
in
really,
college. You decided to
oh, of
graduate for someone
course,
else as well.
of course, yeah.
What was that like when you got that in the mail? Were you like, what the heck?
Well, my mom got it like a month ago, and because I moved out, I didn't see it. And so her and I met for dinner one night, and she didn't forget it one time, and so she brought it. And then I went home and I opened it and I called her and I was like, "So my name's Christina, and I went to school for early childhood education." And she went, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I was like, "They shipped me someone else's degree."
Do you think she kept yours? Because she probably has yours, right? Christina
I
probably
don't
has
know.
a Sam political science or music.
Oh, way to throw my last
Oh,
name in there,
Sam.
everyone. No,
Oh
you're
my
good. No,
god, I'm
you're
so
good.
bad
No,
today.
you're good.
Sam Bleep. Ah, shit. All right.
I
So,
totally
what would you
forgot what we were
say?
talking.
Yeah, me too. So I'm just gonna move to the
Sorry.
next question. What would you say is like the biggest shift that you noticed, like right after you graduated?
Well, it's weird because unlike a lot of other college students and college students in college, students who are going to go to college, students who are in high school who may not even go to college, everyone does life differently. The day that I graduated is actually the day that I signed my lease to move. And so life was very big. It was a huge shift for me. I moved out. I kind of left all of home behind. And then I just kind of, even though it's back an hour and a half across that way, like it's doing things on your own now. And it's very interesting. And so it's exciting. But like every day is new. And as a temp, that's a little daunting with no health care or benefits or anything because you work part time. But yeah,
Yeah. So, what was looking for a job like? You know,
I'm I'm
in the
still looking
mid.
for a job because I work on a project, but I don't actually work for my company. I'm
Mm,
employed through an agency, but like
gotcha.
if my company that I work for would love to offer me a full-time contract, I would be more than graciously to accept. Like they do great work. I love the work they do, so I'd love to work for them full time.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, what was the question?
What was the like job searching process like after graduating college while moving to a new place?
It's it's a lot harder than I thought. You cannot think you're better than any job, but you can also think that no job is better than you. Um, it's like every time you go to an interview, you're interviewing them as well.
Mm,
And so, like, I've had job offers that I turned down because when they asked myself, where do they see me in 5 years? I said I wanted to be in elected office. And when I sat down and at the week period that I got to think about it, I didn't see myself bettering myself at that company. So therefore, I couldn't put my best foot forward at that company.
right.
And so it's weird. Um, Especially because a lot of companies want you to sign a contract saying we want you to be here for a year. And so
Right.
it's weird. But that being said, a month and a half, 2 months can go by. You cannot have a person call you based on no matter how many resumes you send out, and then your phone rings the next day going, "Hey, we have an opening in our office. Someone else sent us your resume. Come interview." And then they still not hire you. But that's the way it goes.
Right. So
But so yeah.
you graduated and sort of had your senior year at a really interesting time for someone
I'm
to go
talking to you
through.
from my classroom.
Yeah, you graduated at a really interesting time. You went through your whole senior year in the COVID era. Do you think about like how do you feel about that?
Oh, how do I feel about that? Well, not great. If I could have like gone to school and like taken away COVID, I like trust me, I would have, but I think everyone else would have too. But if I'm being honest, now that I'm a college grad and I can honestly speak my piece about how I graduated, I feel like honestly like I want some of my money back. I really do. And it's funny because and I love my professors and I'm everyone was under excruciating times, but 3 hours a week for classes became like, hey, we're gonna meet on Monday and then we're gonna give you homework the rest of the week. But you paid for class 3 hours a week for 15 weeks. And like in college, it's a little bit different than in like high school. You're like, woo, we get the day off because like the stakes are so much higher just because there's now a large, large, large price tag on it. And so like I want some of my money back, honestly.
Yeah,
But
no, I
sorry,
agree.
sorry, that's kind of brutal if you want. Ooh,
No, yeah, no, that's I'm loving this, honestly.
thank
No,
you.
I mean like it's because it's weird and it messes with you having to like because we were living in the same apartment the semester where we were like on campus, but classes were online.
Yeah,
And it
we.
kind of messes with you.
It's like, why did they send me to school in the first place, other than the fact to take my money?
It yeah, because you're gonna be there, but you have to do your classes online still. Except for sometimes they're in person, but then they immediately get shut down.
And this is coming from, and Derek, you know this, but the viewers don't. Like, this is from someone who was like the sole voice for the student body as the president. Like, I had an office on campus, but like, I was in my office more than I was in class, just because all my classes were online. And so, like, as a student, and like as a member of the student body, you have to ask yourself, what's the benefit of being here if we're not going to go to class? And that's from a music major too. Most
Right.
of our classes, all of our classes were in person, and then none of them were. You and I sat next to each other in my room
Yeah,
once a week for 3 hours in choir, which we only had 6 times. And
literally.
it's nothing against choir, but like, it's nothing against the scheduling, but like, we had like 4 snow days in our semester, and so like when the snow days and the like happened, they still canceled the online classes.
Right.
So our professor wasn't allowed to hold class, which is like awful.
Right. And it's so weird. Like you have to go to your computer and like nothing changes but in a snow day
Nope.
during COVID between how you get to class. Unless you're one of the few lucky people who had class in person still, which was few and far between at that time.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
can say now that I'm back on campus and I'm going through classes in person again, like it's so much better already than that one semester. Like
And
you guys should get your money back. Or you should get like
I,
a special diploma that says like toughed it out during the hardest shit ever.
thanks. Like at that point though, like the last thing I need is a school putting asterisks on something that I paid for and earned.
Right. That's fair.
But like that's what, as much as it should be, hey, you get like a little extra stamp, they would be like, oh, actually.
Right.
That's because where we came from, not higher education at all.
Right. So let's brighten the mood a little bit.
No, let's
What
brighten
is
the mood a little bit.
probably
Sorry, I've been brutal.
what what's probably your favorite thing about life after college? What's been your favorite thing so far?
I have way much more free time. A lot more free time. Not every job is like this, but I spend a lot of time thinking about like my job as like outside of work, like just like
Mhm.
as a research assistant, like you think about patterns and stuff like that, but like ultimately like because of the work that we do, when my workday ends, it ends.
Mhm.
And then I don't have to bring like even though I'm at home, I don't have to bring home a lot of it in my mind because it's all saved right to my computer.
Mhm.
And so like I have a lot more free time to in the evenings, like around not like I still work a 9 to 5 like most people, but
Mhm.
in the evenings on Tuesdays I'm in a pool league.
Yeah.
So I do that now, and I am looking to get back into community organizing and looking to get involved once like they come back because things are hopefully going back to normal. They're yelling at another wave, and I don't want that. Please, 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 no. But
Knock on
yeah,
wood.
exactly.
Knock
Knock
on
on wood,
headphones.
everything, literally. But I'm looking to get back again to like singing in community choirs and stuff like that too. So looking to
Mhm.
like get back into music.
Is there something that like you have never done before that you've like wanted to try with all this free
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah. I'm really glad you brought this up. I don't know if I told you, but I actually got my motorcycle license.
You did not tell me this.
I did, yeah. So I've always when I was living at home with my mom, you know, like when I was born to like when I moved out for the first time.
Most
I
of
was
my
like
life, yes.
most of my life up until 6 or 7 months ago. I've always wanted to ride a motorcycle. My mom was always like, "Nope, not until you move out, not until you move out." And my mom's brother, so my uncle, my godfather,
Mhm.
is a motorcycle instructor. And so I was just like, "Hey, like, could you teach me how to ride a bike?" And he was like, "Yeah, but you're gonna go through the course, and it's not gonna be taught by me, but I can get you in it for free." And so by doing that, I got to take the course and learned how to ride a bike physically. Learned how to like use the clutch, how to ride through the friction zone of the clutch, shift up and down. Like the rear brake's the one on the ground, the one like the grip on the right side is the front brake, but
Mhm.
a lot of it was fascinating. And so I also figured out instead of like, you know, buying a permit, buying a bike, figuring out if I want to get my license, I could get my license and not like get myself killed on a bike.
Right. That's exciting. Shit. That's how did that
It was a
feel?
lot of fun.
How did that feel finally being like, I moved out. I get to do the bike thing.
It was great. Oh my god, it was great. It took me like 4 months to finally realize that. And then I was like, "Oh, wait, I can do this now." And so like September rolled around, I was like, I signed up, I learned how. But one thing people got to know is it's like not as easy as you think it is. It's fun, but it's serious fun. It's we're talking like a 400, 500, and like on a lighter side, hunk of metal being held up by you and nothing else. So like it's a lot of work and it's
Right.
physically exhausting as it turns out. It's fun. It's a different mode of transportation, but like it was a lot more physically exhausting than I was expecting it to be.
Is that because of like just because of the way you're sitting, or like?
Yeah, just holding up the bike and just getting on and off. And because when you get off, you have to like, and when you get on, you have to tilt the whole bike with your whole body weight and your muscles, and like tilt
Oh,
it over though.
gotcha.
Because if you go too far, it's just gonna tip,
Oh shit.
and like you can't go back because like that's how heavy it is.
Oh wow. Shit.
Like yeah, exactly. Like I did not know that until I started. So like, take a course with professionals. Like if anyone's gonna do it, and like make sure it's something you want to seriously do.
Right.
But like I had a great time doing it. For anyone who's ever thought about doing it, I recommend when you're of age to drive a motorcycle where you live, absolutely try it.
Mm-hmm.
If you still will live with your parents, make sure you ask them first. But like, or do it when you move out after 4 months, like I did.
So,
Jokingly, but like,
so Sam, do you have any fun podcast appropriate college stories that you'd like to share that maybe you wouldn't have any other time you'd have to share it?
yeah, I have two actually.
Ooh,
There's
all
the
right.
one time our roommate Avery comes through and we got Beyblades, and so senior year of college for Avery and I, or for me, Derek, Avery, Shannon, and I all played with metal Beyblades from time to time, which would like break, smash like things around the apartment, and like it was
Dangerous.
terrific. Dangerous, not like the plastic ones you buy from Walmart, like
No.
metal sparks flying everywhere, like fire, awesome. But like the other one was one time when I was a junior. I was the vice president of academic life at the time, and the senior class president, myself, and then our secretary at the time all took our chairs out of the office and rolled them down the halls of Ely and like rolled them into the elevator and like all the way up like the line because we knew the line was huge at like
Right.
Ely Harvest. So like here we are sitting like rolling around the hallways like and like now getting out of the elevator and like sitting in line at Ely Harvest going, "What do you have?" "I'll have a blueberry harvest, please." "Okay." But like, yo, that was a great time and terrific. Public safety kind of had a fit with it, but they're lovely. They always got a crack out of it. They took pictures with us, so it was fun. But like, hey, it was a good time.
Yeah, why not, right?
And then we had like we wanted to see who could get down the hall first, but that ended up being a lot tougher than we thought. So we wanted to see who could shoot in the straightest line down the hall with the chairs is what we ended up doing. And yo, we hit some stuff.
Your tax dollars at work, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hey,
Oh,
student fees.
man. Is there okay? So the last question I'll have for you before we close off. What is one tip that you would have for anybody who is about to graduate from college, whether it's this fall or this coming spring?
That is a great question, my man. And honestly, like, don't be nervous. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, and everyone's gonna be like, do what makes you comfortable. And your parents, if you live at home, they're gonna be like, maybe you should live at home for a year or two. They're gonna try to convince you to stay there because they're your parents and they only want what's best for you. Your caregivers, your aunts, your uncles, your guardians, they only want what's best for you. But don't be afraid to take that leap. Don't be afraid to do it. Make sure you have some money in savings. But excuse me, I have a burp I'm fighting through.
Oh my god.
I finished off the rest of my
this
Coke
whole
from Burger King.
this whole serious conversation.
But like, no, but like seriously, but like, don't be afraid to like, if like one of your college best friends calls you and says, "Hey, My girlfriend and I are looking at getting an apartment together across the state. Are you in with us? We need another roommate to share the other room to rent out the spare bedroom. Say yes. Do it. Take the leap. Just you aren't gonna know a soul out there besides those two people, and that's okay. You meet people. It has taken me some serious time to get to know some actual friends out here, but it doesn't matter. One of them just texted me this morning, and tonight I get to learn how to bartend while I bar back because they needed someone to do it. And so the world's full of opportunities, and just take the leap.
Are you worried like AOC that being a bartender is going to ruin your chances of ever getting elected into office?
No, I don't. No, not at all. Because like honestly, like bartending is not a crime. Like what? No, like honestly, bartending is a great career, and lots of people just do it as a side career, and they call it a side hustle. But a lot of them do it as a career because they're business owners of bars, and it's their passion. But also, they're local businesses in America, and it's the backbone of our economy, and like the backbone of our country, and like you get to meet some of the greatest people as a bartender because mainly at hotels and stuff like that because like they'll come down and they'll talk to you about what they do and then they move on but like you get to meet some of the nicest people you ever met just sitting there having a drink and having one drink and then moving on with your night. It's great, but
well,
drink responsibly. Sorry, I'm gonna say that now. Drink responsibly, folks.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close off? Anything you'd like to promote?
No, nothing to promote. I just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast. It's great to be here, not in a game show setting, on a talk with. So happy to be here. And Derek, thanks for having me. It's great to see you, man.
Amazing. Well, from me here at Specifically Devoid to you, I've been me, you've been you. We'll see you next time. Bye. I love you.